thumbs up? All right, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome and call to order the North Branford Planning and regular planning meeting for February 19, 2026. Thank you all for coming I'm calling in from the Southern Command Center from North Branford. Making my my bid for calling in on running this meeting. But in any event, thank you all for coming. My bad. Please rise and salute the flag, please. I allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce the members of the commission seated here tonight. In front of the screen to my right is Ron Senior, our vice chair. To the left of the screen is Barry Ponder, our secretary. To the left of Barry is Paul Marino, alternate member. To his left is Chris Heon, a regular member. And to his left is, for the first meeting tonight, and the rest of his career is Bruce Abelson. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
And to the left of Ron, to the right of Ron is Kim Slater, our recording secretary. And seated behind the desk, behind the computer, is our town planner, David Perkins. Finally, my name is Robert Nawn, the chairman for the commission seated here tonight. Next order of business on the agenda is to consider the approval of minutes for January 22nd, 2026. I'd ask members to review the minutes and let me know if any commission members have any additions, corrections, or adjustments to the minutes. Then I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as revised.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Paul, second by Chris, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes for January 22nd, 2026? Hearing none, then I move all in favor for the motions for the meeting minutes for January 22nd, 26, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstain.
Opposed? Then the motion carries. Right, Dave?
Yes,
Put that
sir.
into the hand. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
Bruce abstained because he wasn't here.
No problem. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Next item on the agenda is old business. Item number 4. There is not any old business, so we move on to item number 5. Application 2026-2, 90 Kuro Road, I-2 zone for site plan modification. I'd ask the applicant to come up and tell us about his project.
Should I go here or closer?
Yeah, that's good.
Will the chairman be able to see or?
Yes.
Thank you. For the record, Luke Sofair. I'm a licensed professional engineer with John Paul Garcia and Associates, place of business 190 Fairwood Road in Bethany. Here on behalf of the property owner and applicant, McClellan North Branford LLC. And as stated in the call, we are here to present a site plan application for a modification to a site plan to allow construction of a fourth building at the applicant's site at 90 Ciro Road. So on sheet C1, the subject property is 90 Ciro Road. It's approximately 3.5 acres of commercially developed property at the end of Ciro Road. If you're driving at the end of Ciro Road, it's the final property on the left. So the east side of Ciro Road. The parcel is in the I-2 zone and adjoined by I-2 zoned property to the north and the west, and R80 zoned property to the south and the east. This specific property has been in front of the commission twice previously. Approval was granted in 2018 for the initial construction of the contractor yard, which approved Building 1 and Building 2, as shown in the site plan, and was approved for uses C2 Business Office, C15 Contractor's Yard, and C16 Manufacturing. The applicant has been running his business out of the property since 2018. He runs a paving company. We have submitted a detailed narrative and statement of use for the commission's consideration. In 2024, we came back for a first modification to the site plan to propose the construction of Building 3. Building 3 was approved back in 2024 and is currently under construction. The applicant's business has continued to grow, and at this point, he proposes to construct a fourth building in the northern section of the property. The new building will be 30 feet by 50 feet, the same design and construction as the previous 3 buildings, which will be a metal Butler-style building on a slab on grade. The building meets all setback requirements for the I2 zone, and the property as a whole will remain conforming in terms of building coverage, impervious coverage, et cetera. It's still well under all required bulk regulations for the I2 zone, and a zoning chart has been provided in the lower right-hand corner of the site plan. Again, a statement of use has been provided. The building is intended to support and expand the existing permitted business. No new business activities are proposed. All activity on site will remain to be in conformance with what was previously approved by the commission. The new building is proposed to be accessed with a 24-foot wide driveway, which will tie into the existing pavement, run along the eastern property line, sweep around to access the building. 3 new parking spaces are proposed for the new building in accordance with the regulations for this use. In all areas that abuts a residential zone, which is again the northeast side of the property, we are proposing the required 16.7-foot greenbelt buffer as required by the regulations. And in many areas, it exceeds that, but in all cases, the required buffer has been met. The applicant proposes to plant it with a double row of Fraser firs to provide a double row of screening towards the adjacent residential properties. There are wetlands on property in the center here, and we have received approval from the Wetlands Commission back in December for Building 4. As well, we have received approval from the Health Department for the septic system. If we go to sheet C2, the new building is proposed for its own septic system. The anticipated design flows would be very small, but we have applied and received approval from East Shore for the new building. And then finally, sheet C3 and C4, which are in the set, are simply erosion control details and typical details. So just going back to the site plan, which is the gist of what we're proposing, we believe this to be a straightforward, low-impact expansion that supports a successful local business. The new building is in compliance with all bulk regulations for the I2 zone. We've received approval from East Shore and from the Wetlands Commission, and we appreciate the board's time and consideration and are welcome to answer any questions.
I have a question. What the previous approval on for Building 3, 2024, wasn't there a proposal for a buffer zone as proposed in this Building 4 application?
Buffer, by buffer, do you mean a landscape buffer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so the buffer was previously approved to kind of wrap around this area here, the driveway. We do show those plantings. In this case, the area that the driveway is proposed, the buffer has been proposed to be broken at that area, but the buffer has been proposed to continue along the entire limit of the new disturbance. So there will remain the 16.7-foot required landscape buffer around the entire property as is required.
Okay. Do you anticipate any rock going up the hill there to put the building on the top?
We do not.
To install your foundation or utility work?
We do not. So it's just going to be a slab on grade construction, and will generally meet the existing. And we've modified the driveway slightly to avoid a rock outcropping that we did identify when we were there for a site walk for the Wetlands Commission. So again, we do not anticipate, especially given the slab on grade construction of the building, And then any modifications in terms of utility work that may need to occur in the fields is relatively flexible and could be subject to modification and field routing as required to ensure that there would be no rock work.
Okay. There was no special conditions for the wetlands impact that's below the proposed building, correct? You're going to
There's
put
a-
silt fence and everything else to maintain so it doesn't flow into the, whatever your construction is?
Correct. So we do have, a copy of the wetlands permit has been provided. It was approved with standard conditions, including erosion and sedimentation control to be constructed and maintained as are shown on the plan. And I believe there's conditions in there for field modification as necessary to the satisfaction of the wetlands enforcement officer as required throughout the process.
Awesome. Thank
And-
you. Dave, I just have a question. How is this site plan modification, is it the same protocol as a normal site plan review?
Yes,
So the conditions by which we, as a commission, have to look at a site plan are the same?
yes.
Okay. So just for commission members' purposes, I'd like to give you a little synopsis of what a site plan, our roles and responsibility. I got 9 bullets I just want to go over with you so you understand what we're looking at. And some of these bullets I've taken from the Connecticut Bar Association class booklet from March of 25. Physical plans show layout, design of proposed use on a site together with information, the regulations required for that use. Number 2, the site plan used to review conformity with regulations. Number 3, site plan application by itself is already permitted as of right in a particular area, so as long as it meets standard requirements by the regulations. Number 4, a site plan application cannot be made by P&Z until we receive a final report from the Inland Wetlands Agency as applicable, which this gentleman has provided. Number 5, a public hearing is not required for site plan application. Holding a public hearing is solely at the Planning and Zoning Commission discretion, which we're not having today. Number 6, site plan automatically approved if the P&Z fails to act within 65 days. Number 7, approval of site plan shall be presumed unless the decision to deny or modify it is rendered within 65 days. Number 8, site plan cannot be denied based on off-site traffic conditions or inconvenient location of parking. Valid grounds for modification. They cannot serve as grounds for disapproval. The last one is P&Z acts in administrative capacity when reviewing site plan, and its discretion is limited to determining if the proposed site plan complies with applicable regulations. I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up for us that have been doing it for a while and the new guys. So with that being said, I don't have any other questions. Would the commission like to offer any questions, comments, or concerns that you have for the application?
I would just ask, Luke, isn't there a sort of rock wall that's protecting the driveway from the wetlands or some sort of a structure?
There is, yes. I didn't want to touch too much on what was talked about in wetlands, but yeah, part of the wetlands approval, it was requested and granted that a rock wall be constructed along the limits of disturbance, which is approximately the 50-foot upland review line from the wetlands. And again, that will act, the erosion controls will be maintained throughout construction, which is your silt fence and your anti-tracking pad, but that will act as more of a permanent barrier, a permanent erosion barrier, down gradient from the proposed activity to protect the wetlands.
And look, that's similar to what the slope behind Building 2 already exists, same kind of rock kind of structure?
No, so that was some riprap that was put there for stabilization, because when the applicant originally constructed, they did have to take some material out of the back of the property. This will look like a standard rock wall that you might see built on relatively flat ground, because it is, once you get up top, it's relatively flat. So it would just be a stone wall that would be built 2 or 3 courses high by the applicant to provide a more permanent barrier, both visually to make sure that no one goes towards the wetlands for any disturbance, and then for stormwater and erosion.
Is there details of the rock wall?
We've not provided that yet. We could work that out with Mr. Perkins to his satisfaction prior to installation.
Commission okay with that?
Yes.
Our standard detail for something like that would be approximately a 2-foot high wall. So nothing extremely visually disconcerting. It would be a relatively small wall, but enough for the purposes of delineating what the approved limits of disturbance by the Wetlands Commission were.
So it's not going to be poured concrete?
No.
No, and it's in the wetlands decisions, so you don't need to double up on it.
Okay. Dave, do you have any comments on the application?
The application conforms to the regulations, and I would suggest that you should approve it.
Commission members?
Would that be?
Questions,
I have a
comments?
quick question.
Mhm.
Is this for construction or is it an office building?
So it would,
Number 4.
number 4, it would be mostly used for storage and office space for the applicant. The primary manufacturing and construction building will still remain Building 2 and Building 1. The access into the site is much better. But this allows him to, while still, I mean, we have it listed that it will be used for all of the previously approved uses for the property to give him some flexibility. But more likely it would be for moving some office operations up to there.
It appeared to be kind of out of the way.
It is, yes. Given where the wetlands are, it's the only natural place to provide a 4th building, though.
I'm sorry.
And I would talk about the drainage swale that goes from the, I'm not quite sure what the direction is, down to
East Wells here.
Zero Road. Just talk about that and the fact that that does need to be built.
Mhm. Yeah, as part of the previous approval, the town engineer and the commission did request, and again was granted, drainage structures and drainage improvements along the limits of disturbance of the main yard near Chiro Road. As the applicant wraps up, really, I would say phase 1 of the project would be this lower yard where all 3 buildings are. Those drainage improvements will be constructed and will provide protection for both the town property, the wetlands down here, and the trail that goes back to there.
A quick question on,
Mhm.
I know this doesn't pertain to your piece of property, but if you look in the upper left corner, there are 3 items, weird shape, and they're circled. Do you have any idea what that is?
Off the top of my head, I don't. I apologize. These ones here? I apologize, I don't. It might be a rendering issue with the drafting program, to be completely honest with you, because normally we wouldn't draft something to such detail off of our property.
Yeah, I mean, that is off your property, so.
It kind
It
of
is,
looks
correct.
like maybe like a septic tank. You know, there's an existing house there. Yeah, and then, I don't know. Those 2 close together, I don't know, they look pretty close, so I don't know what it could be.
That's not how we would typically draft a septic tank.
Okay.
So I apologize, I don't know.
We're good on that. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve 2026-2.
I think you have a detailed motion in your package.
Yeah, there it
Anyone else have any further questions, comments for the applicant? Okay, hearing none. We'll move to answer the question, ask the question.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve planning and zoning application number 2026-2 site plan modification request under section 23, schedule A, line C15, to add a fourth building 30 by 50 on the site for material and equipment storage for a construction company with the possibility of future leasing portions of the building to tenants. And based on the site plan submitted at 90 Sarah Road, Assessors Map 13A, Lot 83, Zone 1, I-2. Owner, McLean North Branford LLC. Applicant, John Paul Garcia, PE, LS. As contained in submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled Proposed Site Plan Prepared for McLean North Branford LLC, 90 Sierra Road, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by JPGA, John Paul Garcia and Associates, PC, engineers and surveyors, containing the following sheet C1, C2, C3, C4, with the following standard conditions: 2, 4, 7, 9, 10, 16.
Second.
Motion by Barry, do you have a second?
Paul. Second.
Paul, second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving application 2026-29 Puro Road, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So, I wanted to thank you, Luke, appreciate it. Just for the intended purpose of the meeting, we have 6 members present, only 5 are voting. So Paul's the alternate. We'll have Ron, Darren, Ray, Bruce, and Chris and myself vote for this meeting, okay, in this application. So it looks like it was unanimous 5-0. Am I right? Is that right, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty. Moving on to item number 6, other business. We have 4 bullets. Schedule A, Town Center form-based code discussion, training, and release of bonds. Dave, we have public hearing on the 5th. Is that coming up?
Yes, sir.
For Schedule A.
For Schedule A, and we can open it, and since it's our application, we have no time constraints. We can deal with it over a month or 2 months or 1 meeting. Hopefully we'll get some feedback from the public. I did put it in the town manager's newsletter, and I've tried to advertise it a little bit more widely, so hopefully we'll get some people here.
Were you successful in giving Bruce and Dan all the applicable booklets and regulations and POCD and everything else for their use?
Bruce has a big book that he just got.
He's reading it.
I'm not sure,
Congratulations, Bruce.
I don't think you have the POCD in there. I can give you a copy of that after the meeting.
Dave, where'd you put the announcement? Was it in the Totucket Times or was it in the Sound?
No, just in the town manager's
What paper was it?
newsletter. I'll try to get it in the Tutucket Times as well.
Oh, so it wasn't in any of the papers that come out?
No. Other than advertised in the Sound.
Dave, you want to give a little synopsis for those maybe listening for the first time and Bruce, what we did for Schedule A?
Schedule A is the table of uses allowed in the different zones throughout the town, the 2 business zones, the 2 residential zones, and the 3 industrial zones. The verbiage in Schedule A, the table of uses, has been around forever. It's a little confusing. It's not modern. So we've updated it to make it less confusing, more modern, and we've added a few uses that have not been there in the past, such as a museum. So if things are not permitted, they're prohibited in zoning regulations. So we need to be clear about what's permitted, because technically a museum, since it's not permitted, would be prohibited. So that was a good change. There were a lot of sort of accessory uses that were confusing, and we've worked on it for the last, what, year?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. So I think we've come up with a pretty streamlined, good plan. And we've talked about it so that we're not confused anymore, which we were confused from time to time.
That's the nature of our business, confusion.
Right, yeah, we're trying to stop that, yeah.
Trying to stop that, right? So we started, our finalization of this product was, I think, November. And we put it out for December so the public would have an opportunity on the website to look at it. We put it in town manager's newsletter, I believe in December, something like that. So it's not something new. We want the public to at least have an opportunity to look at it. And so if they come to the public hearing and they have, agita, we can just say that we did our due diligence as the best as we possibly can. So that kind of summarizes that item. That'll be this March 5th, Dave?
Yes,
And you've had it, this will be the second round in the newspaper, correct?
yes.
Okay. The next item on the bullet was the town center form-based code, which we're still working through. That'll be our next item for a public hearing come March. Hasn't been publicized, right, Dave?
Correct, we've not set a public hearing date for that item yet.
Okay. Can I segue into, piggyback off of that? Hold on a second. I'll do the next one then. I'll skip that, my comment until the next item. You want to talk about training? Or you have anything to offer on the form-based code?
No, I think it's pretty much what we've been talking about over the last year and a half. We need to sort of wrap our heads around the Public Act 8002 in terms of requiring parking and not being able to require parking. So I need to sort of go back and look at the regulations to determine open space as opposed to parking. We want to require some sort of open space. However, the way the legislature is working this term and with the 8002, it doesn't look like we may have a whole lot of control over density. I'll leave that alone.
So I would recommend that the commission members take the opportunity to use the new tool called AI and ask AI how it will impact the town of North Branford, where and when, and it'll actually drill down right into what specific properties will be targeted by this legislation. It would be a good idea for those who are listening and the commission members themselves to take the opportunity and ask questions of AI specifically of this bill. And you'll be very, very educated exactly where along Route 80, Northwood Center, this bill is going to target North Branford.
And that's HB 8002.
That's correct. So the next item on the other business is training. Dave put together and sent the commission members, looks like 7 different bullets with multiple links for training. Dave, that does not include the training, what's that, next year for the
Connecticut Bar
Association?
Association, yeah, that's going to be next year,
next year. So
27.
I just had 27th, right, because we did it March of 25.
Right.
That's correct. There was also in our packet to the commission members, what classes we took, and to sign off on it, I can't remember.
So I gave you sort of a overview of what the planning commission does and what the zoning commission does, and we're the planning and zoning commission, so we do both of those. I also gave you a little package about what the state statute requires in terms of training for new members. And then I gave you that list that Bob just spoke about, where you can go online and you can take the courses and you can self-certify yourself that you've done that. You know, the state statute required commissioners to attend this training, but they also said that if you don't do it, there's no legal problems.
So there's no ramifications if we fail
Correct,
and not take any of the courses?
correct, but that's not a good idea.
Correct. They're going to create a whole nother portion of the state to regulate us.
Right.
Okay, next item is, anything else, Dave, on training?
No,
Okay. Next item on other business is release bonds. You want to speak to that, Dave?
so I presented a list today. Did you get the emailed list?
A little bit higher than what we talked about earlier today, $85,000 in outstanding performance bonds. right,
Correct.
As of June 30th, 2025.
Correct. And these are cash bonds. This is money that the town's holding. And nobody has really dove into this recently. I mean, some of them are from 2005. Some of them are from 2010. This is cash that's in the bank that people gave us. And so I've done research, and all the red ones are ones that I've found the actual bond forms. I know who it belongs to, I know what it was for, I know how much it is. The ones at the top, you can see there's no such address, and there's a whole bunch that went with Zero Road with the development over there. There's a bunch that just have question marks. And then on the right-hand column, you can see there's a bunch that we can return. So I think what I'd like to do is to work this up over the next couple weeks and come up with a real report with some verbiage to it that would explain what we should be doing and to whom we should be giving the money, so it's more detailed. We also have a whole pile of surety bonds that we've never released, which probably are not enforceable because the applicants probably haven't been paying the premiums on them. So I need to sort of dive into that as well. So this is just sort of wintertime fun.
So Dave, that's two different things, right? Surety bonds and performance bonds.
Correct, yes.
And performance bonds basically is the applicant had to do X, and if you didn't finish X, we would hold the bond. But so your task is one to see if the work was completed back from 2005,
Right.
2003.
Right.
Okay. And so just for how did you come across this? Just stack it up, pile it up somewhere?
Yeah,
It's kinda funny, you know?
from accounting gives it to me every year and says, are these right? And I'm like,
Oh,
I guess so. But I've always looked at the surety bonds, and then Anthony came and he said, you know, I have this whole list of this, and what are we gonna do about it?
Can I ask a question?
and
So,
so Dave, our responsibility and yours is one, you're confirming that the work has been performed, you're reporting back to us saying it's completed, and please sign off on the performance bonds.
Correct, releasing them.
releasing them, okay. I think we did one or two before.
We have done a number of them, yeah.
Yeah, not to this extent, surprise, surprise. Well, okay.
I think Bruce has a
I have a
question.
question, and I don't think it relates to the planning and zoning, but,
You got Bruce?
if some of these companies that are out there, that are in town, that have, back taxes due for many years, do the bonds affect planning and zoning? Does it affect the planning and zoning as far as these bonds? Have you cross-referenced any with the town as far as
No.
some of these businesses that owe back taxes for many years?
No,
And it doesn't affect us, right?
doesn't affect us.
Oh.
But that's why I want to sort of put together a whole package so I can pass it around town hall and see what the other departments say prior to us releasing everything. I mean, in some cases, I can't even find these people.
Well, sorry, it's just, some of these people popped up from my brain, from my previous job, and I do know that there's outstanding balances. So I just don't know if that affects as far as their bonds.
In my opinion, we're two separate entities.
Yes.
Bruce, so we are dictating land use and not tax use. But I'll leave that to the powers that be in town to figure out an amicable way to
Thank you.
settle up, I'll call it the score on both parties.
Right, I agree with you. I just didn't, it's just, like, there's a couple of them here that popped up, so.
Okay.
Sorry, it's just in my head, so. I'm not trying to penalize any, that's not, we're not here to penalize anybody, and I get it. It's just that, these people, some of them have skirted a lot of what they have to do, so.
So Bruce, I'm gonna defer to Dave and let him figure out the people in the building to resolve that issue.
Well,
And then he'll come to us with whatever the resolution is. But you're right, absolutely. You bring knowledge that the commission is lacking at this point in time and probably would not have thought of that. But now that you shared it with Dave, he's gonna carry the water and see where it takes him. So he'll bring back any bonds, surety, or performance that everyone in the building agrees to.
Correct.
Right.
To let go. That make sense, Bruce?
Absolutely, I've just, like I said, we're not here, I understand that we're not here to punish anybody. That's not the role of planning and zoning. But,
Right.
so, thank you.
We're just trying to be fair, Bruce, that's all.
Absolutely, I get it.
We're fair and reasonable. Yeah, so we got Dave, you're gonna work on that?
Yes.
That brings us to the next item on the agenda is the town planner's report. What do you got for us?
We just have the public hearing on March 5th for the table of uses.
Okay. So March 5th, I may not be here for that. That'll be tight. I'll
Okay,
be in town probably around 6 o'clock, so it'll be tight for me to make it, so I'll see if I can get there in time for that. If not, we have the best experienced vice chair around, Ron Sienna, to carry the water for everybody.
You mean
Larger than life you are, my friend.
I won't have Big Brother over my shoulder?
Anything else, Dave, from your end?
I think we're all set.
Okay. In our last discussion at the meeting, item 9 is usually, and has been assigned informally to our vice chair, but I don't know if he still wants to retain item number 9, or do you
Did
want
we-
to pass the scepter?
Did we want to go back a little bit and talk about there is a permanent member of the Planning and Zoning Commission who's an alternate member of the Wetlands Commission. So
Yes, sir. Please do.
if anybody wants to volunteer to do that job, typically that person never attends the Wetlands Commission meetings. Anybody interested?
What was the visit, what was it?
You'd be a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission and an alternate on the Wetlands Commission. So you can't do it because you're an alternate.
I think didn't they just got a couple new guys on there, right? They
Yeah.
still need a spot?
Well, Steve Scavo is a permanent member of the Wetlands Commission, and he's an alternate member of this commission. But as you know, he's never been here.
Right.
And vice versa, the P and Z person to the wetlands rarely goes. And that was Bill Goldenzi. So he's resigned and he's taken a full-time position on the Wetlands Commission.
Dave, when do they meet? How often, in your opinion?
They meet once a month. They're scheduled to meet once a month, and they probably meet 8 times a year, 10 times a year. Is that about right? So we don't have to decide that today.
No pressure.
We also have a member who serves on the Planning Commission for the South Central Regional Council of Governments. And what traditionally happened was the state statute said that if you're changing a zoning regulation, you have to notify all the abutting towns about the changes that you're making. The state statutes were changed a few years ago so that you only have to notify your local COG. And then this group gets together once a month and goes all over all the different planning changes and decides whether they're in the best interest of the region or not. And that meeting takes place by Zoom, and it's once a month. So we need a member to do that. We haven't had a member on that commission for a couple of years.
If you recall, it was Trish Mace was our member on that SCROG, and it was always on Zoom, still is on Zoom.
So it doesn't take a lot of time. And there are a lot of vacancies on that commission as well, so I know the SCROG keeps looking at it to see if they should change the personnel who are on that commission so that they would be planners and such as opposed to commissioners who would be more easily available. But again, let's talk about it at the next meeting and see if we have any volunteers.
Be very interesting to hear what the group says about the new House Bill 8002, which assigns them significant power and dictates to every town under their purview how many low-income, affordable homes and types will be dictated to each and every town in their region.
And whether they pass that on to the planning commission or whether they create a new group of people to do that is different. I think they were hiring a couple people to analyze that and give us advice.
Right. Yeah, that won't be coming in front of the members of any town that part of the SCROG, they're going to get immediate pushback, at least outside the big city,
Right.
in my opinion. We're going to wait to see what happens with that bill, Dave,
Yes.
how it evolves.
Yes, it doesn't affect us in terms of planning until 2008 or 9. We're on the second.
28, 29?
Yeah, we're on the second round, which is good. So we're not the guinea pigs, at least other people who've gone ahead of us.
Does the passing and changing our regulations for the form-based help us or hurt us?
It just changes the strategy that we need to use in formulating the regulations based on the changes that they've made. One of the major changes is that you can build townhouses, residential structures in any commercial zone as of right. So that means you get administrative coverage. As long as they meet the setbacks, they can build 9 units. You don't even have coverage ratios that you can worry about. The big question in my mind is, what is a commercial zone? Is that a business zone? Is that an industrial zone? Is that a mixed-use zone? They just say commercial, which is not typically what us planners talk about. We like to talk about business zones and industrial zones. So hopefully that'll get cleared up in this short session.
Hopefully not. Just my opinion.
Right.
I wish it was a shorter session. Then they won't have to jam stuff down our throats, especially us. I heard there's another bill that's they're tossing around for planning and zoning regs besides 8002, Dave. Is that something new? Hear anything about that?
They raised a new bill last Thursday that eliminates any, you cannot require less than 5,000 square foot lots. Minimum lot size can't be larger than 5,000 square feet. Front and side setbacks are 10 feet and 5 feet on any lot. You cannot make them any larger than that. These are lots that are tied to sewer and water. If they're not on sewer and water, you can regulate them completely. You can also take a 40,000 square foot lot and subdivide it into 8 5,000 square foot lots, as long as you can meet the 5 foot and the 10 foot setbacks. There's no height restriction. They can be very, very tall and very skinny on very little lots. And the driver of this was to create starter homes and silver homes, but nowhere in the legislation does it say that. And they stole this regulation completely from Maryland and from Massachusetts, where they're both have not been approved. They're both in the pipeline. So they're all sort of going down this road at the same time to make more affordable housing. But there's nothing in the legislation that would require affordable housing. You could build, you know, these skinny little Manhattan skyscrapers. There was a 5-hour public hearing on Tuesday. And there was a lot of pushback from both sides. So I doubt it will ever get through the General Assembly, but.
Yeah, until until the end of the year where they have another special session. Oh, look at this. We'll do this. Change a couple words, same bill goes out. Oh yeah, we want this. Quite frankly, it's an election year, so I doubt that'll happen.
Right.
So you know it's going to kick down the road until till the power gets passed to the next guy and then whatever happens.
And this also was raised in the Housing Committee, not in Planning and Development, which is a little odd.
Who's running the show? The housing people or this special group what's it called? Desegregate Connecticut.
Well, they're
Those
behind
folks
it.
have a big part.
Right.
Yeah, you got that right. A big lobby group pushing affordable housing. So every town looks like New Haven? I'm just saying. What do I know?
Right.
I'm just an overpaid chairman.
All that $0.
Yeah, exactly. You paid the big bucks. Okay. So, commission members, take your time, think about the SCROG, And if you want to participate once a month via Zoom or on the Inland Wetlands Commission about 8 times a year, more or less. And then the wetlands meets in person, right, Dave?
Yes,
Okay, in the very chamber I think we're in.
yes,
More or less?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Dave?
Nope, I think I'm good.
You're good to go. Ron, would you like to execute number 9, or you want to pass the buck?
Well, I'm going to be passing the buck, but as of right now, I'm going to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. And 2 days after that, I want to point out, it's St. Joseph's Day. There's still time to get Sablas for those Italians that understand. That being said, I motion we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same. Motion carries. We're adjourned. 7:24 p.m. Thank you, Jim, for taking care of notes. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Bob.
As well.
Thanks, guys, for late work.